Hello friends, hope you are doing well and enjoyed all the 9 lectures. The lecture 10 was, this is a lecture 10B, it's a part, Ethics Committee Registration. So in this lecture, what will we learn? So we learn about Ethics Committee, what is Ethics Committee, how to apply for the Ethics Committee registration, then what would be its validity, then whether the registration is online or offline, then how to apply, which rules are applicable, and whether really the ethics committee registration is mandatory or not. So this is the outline, or you can say the learning objective. We'll see what is ethics committee, then the types of ethics committee, composition of ethics committee, its quorum requirement, then responsibility of ethics committee, where to register, how to register, validity, in short all about the ethics committee. So let us start first with the what is ethics committee. Ethics committee is a committee comprising of scientific, non-scientific, medical, non-medical members, including a lay person, and the responsibility of this ethics committee is to ensure the protection of the rights, safety and well-being of human subject involved in clinical trial, and it shall be responsible for reviewing and approving the protocols, that is a clinical trial protocol, the suitability of the investigators involved in the study, facilities, methods and adequacy of information to be used for obtaining and documenting informed consent of the study subject, and adequacy of confidentiality safeguards. So the ethics committee primarily approve the protocol, but the final approval of the protocol is by the licensing authority. We have seen in earlier lecture, that is a DCGI. We consider two types of ethics committee, that is independent and institutional. Institutional ethics committee, the committee which is attached with the hospital, we call it as a institution, and independent ethics committee which is not attached to the hospital. The functions are same for the both. Let us see some important considerations about the ethics committee. So this ethics committee shall consist of not less than 7 members. The maximum number has not been given here. Ideally the maximum number should be avoided to avoid the chaos in the decision making process. Sometimes if more the number of the people, then it would be very difficult to reach at a certain consensus. For review of each protocol, the quorum of ethics committee shall be at least 5 members. So if the 5 members which is mentioned below are present, then we can say the quorum is completed and decision can be made. So these 5 members consist of basic medical scientists, preferably one pharmacologist. One pharmacologist should be there, then clinician, then legal expert, social scientist or representative of non-governmental voluntary agency, that is NGO, or philosopher or atheist or theologian or similar person who can take care of these subjects. Then lay person from the community who will think non-scientifically, non-medically, and who knows about the society and people. Out of these 7 members, one among its member who is from outside the institute shall be appointed as a chairman. The chairman should be from the outside the institution. If the chairman is from the same institution, then there may be a bias or there may be a difficulty to his subordinate to freely give their consent. So it has been decided to keep it from the outside the institution. One member as member secretary, and rest of the members shall be from medical, scientific, non-medical, non-scientific fields, including one layperson. The committee shall include at least one member whose primary area of interest or specialization is a non-scientific, and at least one member who is independent of the institution. Besides, there should be appropriate gender representation in ethics committee. The ethics committee can have as its member individuals from other institutions or communities if required. They can take the member from the other hospital or other institutions. Members should be, whatever the members available, they should be conversant with the provision of clinical trials under this schedule. They should be conversant with the good clinical practices. They should be having competent knowledge about clinical trial, how to be conducted in India, and other regulatory requirement, so that to safeguard the right, safety and well-being of the trial subject. The members representing medical, scientists and clinicians should have postgraduate qualification and adequate experience in the respective field and aware of this role and responsibilities as committee member. Those who are involved, they should have the postgraduate qualification and experience, and they should be aware about the responsibilities. As far as possible, based on the requirement of research areas such as HIV, genetic disorder, etc., specific patient group may be represented in the ethics committee. The most important thing that there should be no conflict of interest. The member shall voluntarily withdraw from the ethics committee meeting while making a decision on an application which evokes a conflict of interest, which may be indicated in writing to the chairperson. They have to write to the chairperson they have withdrawn, and this should be recorded in the minutes of the meeting why they have withdrawn. All members shall sign a declaration on conflict of interest. So prior joining this ethics committee or before sitting for the meeting, they have to sign a no conflict of interest format. Subject experts or other experts may be invited to the meetings for their advice, but these subject expert, they don't have right for the voting. Now let us see about the responsibility of this ethics committee. It is the first responsibility of the ethics committee to review and accord its approval to a trial protocol in order to safeguard the rights, safety and well-being of all trial subjects. The ethics committee should exercise particular care to protect the rights, safety and well-being of all vulnerable subjects. Vulnerable subjects are those subjects who are not capable of giving their consent, or the subject who may be unduly influenced by the other persons involved. So for these subjects, there should be an SOP which would mention what are the precautionary measures have been taken, and the record of all these measures taken should be maintained. Ethics committee should make at appropriate intervals an ongoing review of trial, for which they review the protocol. The protocol which they have reviewed, they have to take a review of those trials, and that may be based on the periodic safety progress report. The PI or the sponsor will submit the periodic progress report, and based on that they can conduct ongoing review. They can conduct the internal audit also based on their previous audit or based on the information obtained from the sponsor. In case an ethics committee revoke its approval according to trial protocol, it must be recorded, and the reason for doing so shall be communicated to the investigator and to the licensing authority. If after giving approval, if the ethics committee thinks that the approval should be revoked, then that should be immediately informed to the principal investigator who is involved in the study and also to the licensing authority. In case of SAE occurring to the clinical trial subject, the ethics committee shall forward its report on the SAE after due analysis along with its opinion on the financial compensation, if any, to be paid by the sponsor. So, if any SAEs occur during the trial to the subjects, then it is the responsibility of ethics committee that they should analyze whether this injury or SAE is related to the study drug or not related. If it is related, then how much compensation the sponsor should provide. So, this detailed analysis and its opinion the ethics committee should forward to the licensing authority within 30 days of the occurring of the SAE. So, these are few of the things should be kept in mind. Now, let us see where to register and why to register the ethics committee. So, where to register, we have seen the licensing authority and the central drug authority, that is the CDSCO, the headquarter of which is at headquarter New Delhi. Ethics committee registration is there only and it is available online. We will see in detail the online process in our subsequent slides. So, whether it is mandatory or not, under which rule? Rule 122D of Drug and Cosmetic Rules mandate prior registration of ethics committee with the CDSCO. Then what is the validity of this once registered ethics committee? It is a 3 years from the date of issue of ethics committee registration certificate unless suspended or cancelled. Now, let us see why to register. So, why to register the ethics committee? Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare published a Gazette Notification 72 dated 8th February 2013, Rule 122DD. As per these rules and Gazette Notification, no ethics committee shall review and accord its approval to a clinical trial protocol without prior registration with the licensing authority as defined in clause B of Rule 21. We have seen this clause B of Rule 21, that is a central license approving authority. We call it as a DCGI also, Drug Control General of India. So, this is very clear from this rule that no ethics committee shall review and accord its approval. If there is a violation, then there may be a cancellation, suspension of the permission. So, as per this rule, every ethics committee who is approving, reviewing the protocol for clinical trial for the regulatory purposes, they shall have to register first with the CDSCO. Application for ethics committee registration as specified in Appendix 8 of Schedule 1. How to apply, what are the contents, what should be the composition, that everything is given under the Appendix 8 of Schedule 1. Now, let us see the ethics committee registration. So, Sugam portal is available for the regulatory ethics committee registration. So, first you have to go to the online, that is it is available on our website, that is cdsconline.gov.in. So, this page will open. You have to see this page. Here you have to create the username and password, then you will be logged in. After login, you have to select the purpose, because we are dealing with the many of the other activities like cosmetic registration, BAB approval. So, here you have to select for ethics committee registration. Then after selection of this, you have to submit that you are registering for the ethics committee. the registration purpose you have to give and then submit it. Then again it is applicant registration, you have to give the details of applicant type and username and other details like mobile number, then nationality, ID proof, undertaking, all these things you have to fill in this form online. Then next you have to upload the undertaking. So there are two types of undertaking given here. Undertaking for the ethics committee not attached to hospital. For those ethics committee which are not attached to the hospital, we call it as a independent ethics committee. So in this undertaking you have to give the details about the ethics committee. So what is the ethics committee, who is the responsible person, then who would be the member secretary. So everything you have to fill and sign this. The next is undertaking for ethics committee attached to the hospital. Similarly, for not attached to the hospital, and it is for the attached to the hospital, you have to give the undertaking. Then the details about the registered office. If it is attached to the hospital, then the details of the hospital, organization name, organization type, then address, first address, second address, then country where it is, whether it is in India or outside the India. So the detail address, the contact number, fax number in case of emergency, if regulator want to know or if they would like to convey the essay and other things, then everything should be there. So this form has to be filled up by the applicant. So this is about the same thing what we have mentioned, contact number and the details. You have to tick mark it. In our site we have given some question and answers also for the convenience of the applicants. If they are having some doubts about who can register, then how do I get my login credential on CDSCO online portal, if they are not able to receive any confirmation mail from CDSCO, or how to submit a form to any division of the CDSCO. Such type of questionnaires are given under the frequently asked question. So this is about the registration, and once you have registered the ethics committee, then it is valid for 3 years. The checklist and documents required we will see in the next slides. So after the expiry of this registration certificate, whether we can re-register or it would be a fresh, that we will see. So the re-registration of ethics committee. If ethics committee registration is applied for 3 months before expiry of registration, then it is deemed to be continued unless order are passed or until registration is suspended or cancelled. So before the expiry of this already given ethics committee registration, if you apply before 3 months of the expiry, and if it get delayed from licensing authority that giving the re-registration, then it is deemed to be continued. Whatever the registration certificate you are having earlier, that deemed to be continued, provided that it should not be cancelled or suspended. With no change in address, composition, etc., only undertaking along with details of performance of ethics committee with respect to its review and monitoring function is required. Single covering letter and necessary documents with pagination. All the documents with clearly pagination in clear and legible language, ensuring sufficient marginal space for any handling, evaluation, storage, that has to be given. Indicate that there is any change in address and composition. If there is a change in the address, or if there is a change in any ethics committee composition while re-registering the ethics committee, that have to be mentioned. If there is a change, then you have to provide the details, that is a new address and either date of the change, the qualification of the members who are now newly recruited, experience, training of this new member as per the requirement given under the schedule. In continuation, this checklist has been provided on our website. So this is the checklist for submission of application for re-registration of ethics committee. So In this checklist it is given application for re-registration of ethics committee, name of the ethics committee, address of the ethics committee. So all this detail you have to fill, whether yes or no, whether you have given or not given, and also you have to mention the page number to verify the regulators. Undertaking by the ethics committee, this undertaking has to be provided by the ethics committee while re-registering. Now let us see the documents required to be submitted for registration of ethics committee. The checklist for acceptance of application by CDSCO for registration. So once the application is there, the CDSCO will verify whether the documents are there or not. So checklist has been provided as per requirement in accordance with appendix 8 of schedule 1. Terms of reference for the appointment, that has to be given, on which terms the committee member has been recruited. Then ethics committee SOP especially for research on vulnerable population. We have mentioned earlier also, the ethics committee and the sponsor side, they should maintain a separate SOP for the vulnerable population, because they require the utmost care and their safety right should be protected properly. Management of conflict of interest, no conflict of interest documents, that also has to be submitted. Contact detail and profile of chairperson and the members. Chairperson is the important persons and other members also. So the details about the chairperson and other members, that has to be given here. Essential training details. We have seen that the member should be conversant with the schedule Y, then good clinical practice guidelines, ICMR guidelines. So they should undergo the training, and in this regard they should provide the training certificate that the members appointed are really conversant with the good clinical practice guidelines. Undertaking by committee as per format we have seen earlier, and wherever there is a non-applicability of this checklist or any item of this checklist, they have to mention not applicable, and the other documents required for the re-registration. So this is about the ethics committee registrations. Now let us challenge the mind with some questions for you. So we'll see one by one the questions and answers from you. The first question for you: is ethics committee registration mandatory for reviewing of clinical trials? We have seen in the lectures. Yes, under rule 122 DD of Drug and Cosmetic Rules 2013, ethics committee registration is mandatory. The next question, ready for the next question? Under which authority ethics committee registration should be done? We have seen this in many our lectures. So it is the central authority, that is Central Drug Standard Control Organization, where you can register the ethics committee. Coming to the next question, question number 3: how long ethics committee registration be valid? It is 3 years, unless it is suspended or cancelled. It is valid for 3 years. Let us summarize the lecture 10, that is part 2. So in this lecture we have learned why ethics committee registration is mandatory. It is mandatory because Government of India, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has published a notification and rule 122 DD, according to which no ethics committee can review or record its approval unless it is having a prior registration. Then we learned about applicability of rule 122D, as I have mentioned. Then composition of ethics committee we have seen, not less than 7 people should be there, and to maintain the quorum 5 persons with the qualification and everything that we have seen. Then we understood the step-by-step procedure of how to register ethics committee. We have seen the Sugam portal, its pages. They have to first, applicant has to first register himself or herself, then all the credential has to be given, then one by one step has to be followed as instructed on the SOGAM portal that we have seen. We have also seen the re-registration after 3 years. If the registration get expired, then how to re-register, that also we have seen. Fees we have not seen in all this lecture. So for your kind information, there is no fee required till date for registration of this ethics committee. So this is all about the lecture 10. Hope you understood it properly. So until the next lecture, take care, thanks and bye bye.